What's up, y'all? Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today's video should be a fairly quick one. It's just going to be what's happening in Raid for the next few days. So in terms of just opening up my game, we've got the new Raids minigame returns. I guess it's not brand new, maybe new to other players out there who didn't see it before or just starting out in the game now. So basically you're featured as Elhain, and you kind of are in like this mini game mode where you're destroying a bunch of spiders. In this, I feel like in this feature they might be destroying something in Halloween-esque sort of features. It does say some new additions this time around. Minigame features 7 stages instead of 3, so more stages. New stage will unlock every day, same as before. You'll get a one-time reward for beating each stage and earn points towards unlocking milestones on top of it. And this time around you can get your hands on a chronophage gear and plenty of goodies. The final reward will be the epic champion Dark Elhain, so that's not bad. Alright, so taking a quick peek at it here, we've got a limited time event. It does say here, let me move myself out of the way, and as you can see, we've got chronophage set at each stage. First stage, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then last stage you can get a free primal shard, so that's not bad. Eventually 2x primals is coming our way, so that'd be nice. You do get a solid amount of rewards. 100 energy here. Each day you can get 340 points, it seems, and then I think it stacks up over time, so you can get more points per day as time goes on. You get 300 energy at 1720. Epic book. This is great for early game accounts, mid game accounts. It's great for anybody's account, to be honest, but if we're being real, it's going to be even better for early game progression because it's just a bunch of free goodies, and then on top of it you get gear. I assume it's going to be either 5 or maybe 6-star gear. I'm hoping it's 6-star gear and not 5-star, and I'm hoping that it's legendary gear because 6-star legendary is going to be more impactful on everybody's account as opposed to just the early game account if it's lower than 6-star legendary. All right, I mean, if it's 6-star epic, it's actually good for mid-game accounts, like some late game, maybe even some end game if you can get triple roll speeds, but other than that, I would really want everybody to get 6-star legendary gear. Dark Elhain, also very strong in the early game, so great progression champion. She's gonna be great for the faction wars, great for general progression, also really good in Ice Golem as well. So yeah, this is not bad for a free limited time event. Definitely get in the fight on that. It only is going to last from, it only lasts for about a week or so. So you do have to make sure you're progressing every single day. So get into the fight with Raid, start the mini game, get your free primal as well as free epic champion. All right, other news that we've got going on right now. Let's take a look at the drawing boards here. Looking at the announcements, they just posted the mini game announcements. Okay, that's per usual. Okay, so it is going to be the same with the minigame where you're fighting spiders. Doesn't look like it's been changed. All right, so we do have additional information in the game. We've got for this Friday, October 31st, they're planning on launching 3 events simultaneously. So they're going to be launching a 2x event to summon epic and legendary champions from ancient shards. Of course, we just probably spent a lot of shards. If you're going from Maria, then you're probably spent ancients during the path event. That's actually, I think, still going on unless it's over. Yeah, the path event's another day and 18 hours. Yeah, so it's not over yet, still going on, and they're going to be launching a 15x progressive at the same time for ancients, primals, sacreds, and voids. So I don't recommend pulling your shards for this, to be honest, but if you have an insane amount of resources, or of course you're a spender, this is mostly for spenders, then Venalicia is disgusting. She's one of the newer champions that's going to be brought into the game. I think she has a decreased defense, block buffs. Yeah, this chick right here is disgusting. She just got brought in for this Halloween during this fusion. A weaken on a triple hit, block buffs and decreased defense on a 3-turn. Revives all allies 50% HP, 50% turn meter. If all allies are dead, revives them with 75% HP and 75% turn meter instead, and decreases the cooldown of all revived ally skills by 1 turn, but then also increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns, which gives you a chance to actually get a turn and win. So she's pretty insane if you build her with super high res for Live Arena. She could be insane. Interesting little garments here with the little pointies. I just noticed that. And yeah, so passive wise, fills this champ's turn meter by 20% when the allies die. Very strong. Heals this champion by 20% of their max HP whenever they are attacked under a pain link. Occurs once per turn, and it places a pain link debuff for 2 turns on enemies who deal damage equal to 25% or more of the allies' max HP. Any allies' max HP on her team with a single skill. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, only one will activate, and 60 accuracy in all battles. Insane champion, in my opinion. Then you've got the likes of Rhodos, the Lost Groom, who's going to be another old but gold champion. It seems like these are all Halloween type champions or October champions. Rhodos, insane still, takes tons of extra turns. Obviously, he's definitely dropped off in terms of being power crept over time, but still an insane champion. He was one of the original fusions way back in the day. Around, I think, 2019 when the game first came out. Morrigan is also a fusion from the past. So Morrigan should, I think, be in here. Yes, she is. She's a speed booster. She's similar to like Lysandra, but I think she's slightly better in some instances, some cases. She's really strong against Amius. She has a True Fear, and she can steal all buffs from a target enemy. So that's the reason why I would say she can be better than Lysandra in Arena, for example, in some instances. And then she also has decreased speed on an enemy, increased speed, and fill turn meter of allies by 20% on a 4-turn cooldown, albeit it is a 4-turn, but it's still very strong. If you use her as a speed booster, she would be pretty decent on your roster. Not something that people are probably going to go out of their way for. Kaja the Rye. So let's take a look at Kaja. Here she is. She's actually decent with Timid the Fool. She pairs with him. She has a speed in all battles as well, and removes 2 random debuffs from each ally. So it's decent. It can definitely be a clutch in terms of removing debuffs from the team, placing block debuffs for 1 turn on all allies, and filling their turn meters so they can get back in the fight on a 3-turn cooldown is honestly pretty good. Revise all dead allies, 50% HP, 50% turn meter. Place increased crit rate, increased crit damage. If Timid the Fool's on the same team and dead, revives them with full HP, full turn meter. And if Timid the Fool's on the same team and alive, resets the cooldown and instantly activate his Kegs of Dread skill, which is pretty powerful. And then all turn meter reduction effects from enemies are decreased by 50% when used against this champion. Yeah, not bad. I don't think this skill goes off, even if... I'm not 100% sure. I haven't used her in a while, but let me know in the comments down below. Can you still use a skill even if people are not dead? Okay, and then next up, of course, we get the pairing, which is Timid the Fool. So Timid was an old fusion. The Kegs of Dread is the ability that goes off if she gets revived, if she revives him, and places True Fear on all enemies before attacking, increase accuracy. The downside on this, obviously, is if they have block debuffs up, it's not going to do anything. It doesn't go through block debuffs, and you have to use this skill to remove their Stone Skin or any other buffs before you can place the True Fear to begin with. And of course, he could be a sheep magnet in some instances. He doesn't hit super hard, buff his damage. Then in terms of Gaspard the Accused, Gaspard is a new hero that's just being introduced into the game as well. All right, so Gaspard is going to be a Void legendary. So he is a good damage dealer. He's not like insane, but he's definitely very, very strong. And he could be strong against anybody for block revive. He can ignore life barrier, poison cloud, shield, and block damage. The annoying part is you can't block revive a Hydra head, but he does have an interesting passive whenever this champ kills an enemy or decapitates a Hydra head, fills the turn meter of all allies by 25%, and heals them by 25% of their max HP. So he's a great supporting nuking champion. And then whenever an enemy is revived, instantly activates Use Stand Accused skill against the enemy. If multiple enemies are revived, the initial target of the revive will be targeted by the Use Stand Accused skill, will not put the Use Stand Accused skill on cooldown, has a 50% chance of activating the Use Stand Accused skill on an enemy whenever an ally is killed. So this one right here, it actually is this ability. This is actually really strong now that I think about it. because of his passive. Of course, if he gets block passives on himself from Carnage or other champions in the game, then he can't use the skill and he becomes less effective in the match. But he is a very strong champion nonetheless. Next one is Siphi the Lost Bride. Same thing, undead, pairs well with Rhodos, sleeping zap on the A1. Then we've got the Whirlwind Romance. Everybody knows this champion. She has a crazy revive and resistance in all battles by 80. Then we've got Constantine the Dayborn. Constantine is part of the Sacred Order. He pairs with Vlad the Nightborn. Constantine is the bigger of the two damage dealers. Constantine is void, so is Vlad. So his pairing, block revive. All enemies killed by this champion cannot be revived if Vlad is on the same team. He did get a buff, so he does more damage, and so that the passive is better. And I think they changed the amount of people that he can block or revive. Enemies from the Undead, Demon Spawn, and Knights Rev faction killed by this champion cannot be revived if he doesn't have Vlad on the team. Then we've got for epic champions, of course, epic's not insane, but epic champions are going to be Vogoth. Vogoth is very strong, so don't sleep on Vogoth. Very, very strong still. Amazing on the healing whenever he's attacked. Heals allies by 50% of the damage received. Miscreated Monster is the next champion. He's going to be Knights Rev. Big ally protection, big shields, great for Spider, early game progression, great for early game in the faction wars. Magnar is the next one. Magnar is in the Demon Spawn, one of the best HP based damage dealers in the game on a double hit if he doesn't place the HP burn or the stun. So it says places an extra hit on enemies without HP burn debuff, so don't build them with accuracy. Madame Ceres, really old champion, but she's still pretty strong in PvE. Obviously not as strong as she used to be in PvP, but she can be utilized from time to time. Yeah, so her ability was always this one here. Removes all buffs from enemies, 50% decreased attack, 50% or 6% decreased defense on a 4-turn. And she is power crept. And then lastly, we've got Skull Crown, who's a Knight Rev champion. Skull Crown is a Void Epic, and she's got the 24% or 23% rather speed arena and big hitting ability here, and then double hitter. She's great in a blender comp, and then she does have survivability with the unkillable if her HP drops below 20%. All right, so that's it in terms of the summoning events. And then they also have a Champ Chase tournament alongside it this Friday that's going to start for the Bloody Mary Fusion, and levels 1 to 41 3-star Perfect Soul, 42 to 64 is a 4-star Perfect Soul, and 65 to 100 is 5-star Perfect Soul for Bloody Mary. But you need to get the minimum thresholds. To level 41 2,000 points is required, to level 64 3,000 points, and to level 100 5,000 points, and you still have to be first place on the leaderboard in order to get it. And you're in a group of 50 players, so more than likely you're not going to get it, and it's going to be somebody else that snipes you. But personally, they're probably going to do some type of Hero's Path or event, maybe a Deck of Fate, something for the Maria Sanguine's soul. So rest assured, you're still going to probably get your hands on Bloody Mary's soul at some point. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or a great evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.